All right, so you'll probably get to see some of them, but the chicken posse is right here, ready to help. We're gonna hope that that door stays open. There's no wind right now, so that's good. I keep the shovel that I use to do this job in the run, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. The reason you don't really want to keep a lot of tools, if any, in the coop is that inevitably something will get knocked over, pushed over, and then it's going to end up in your straw on the floor, getting pooped on, get lost if it's a smaller tool, that sort of thing. And of course, the reason for wearing a mask is respiratory protection. You can look it up if you couldn't already guess, but chicken feces, all of the insane amount of dust that's going to be in a coop are something that are really important for you to keep in mind when you're going to go clean out your coop. And today's just going to be a quick clean out. I'm not going to do a full clean out. We'll do that more in the spring when the temperatures are much warmer and it's really time to clean out all of the bedding in the coop. This is more of just a maintenance thing to get that extra feces out that they drop overnight while they're sleeping, just to reduce odor and reduce opportunities for bacteria or other pathogens to grow in here. So I'm going to keep my mask on for the rest of this, but if we were doing a full coop clean out, I would lift this up. That way it's a whole lot easier to just shovel out all of the bedding that's in here. And I don't need to do that for today. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a couple of the things I'm going to work on today, and I'll see if I can get a better view on that depth. But this is one of the roosting bars, and so you can see right below it is a buildup of feces, just kind of in that one spot in particular because they go to the bathroom while they're sleeping. And then up here on the poop shelf for the main roosting bar, the favorite roosting bar, you can definitely see that better, that there's quite a buildup right there. I also wear gloves for this part just because it never fails when there'll be a piece of stuck on poop or something like that that you just, really want to get off of here, without even realizing it or thinking about it, you'll end up touching some poop. And yes, while we do often touch poop on the eggs that we're collecting, it's just a different deal. You don't actually want to intentionally be sticking your hands in chicken feces if you don't need to. So I do prefer to wear gloves. And again, with a quick coop clean out, we're not going for perfection. We're just going for a lot better than it was. The temperatures have been warm enough the last few days that this is a good time to get out and do this before it gets cold again. The spring season is approaching, but it is not here yet. We are still very much in for several cold days, freezing, and some snow. This area here is a little difficult because it's not meant for them to roost on, but similarly to how they will kind of lay eggs where they want, sometimes they'll roost where they want to. See, this is kind of where we would practice the deep litter method, but again, really, you should start that pretty early in the fall, or not even that. You should start it in the summer months so that it has time to build up and make that composting process happen. But I have found this year, because it's our first year trying that method, that our chickens like to burrow down in the straw. And when they're doing that, they're getting poop all over themselves. and their feathers and stuff. And they're definitely using the straw to keep themselves warm, which is what it's intended for, and that's good. But I don't want them to then have to nuzzle up in their own feces. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try to read up on it more and do a more in-depth version of that next year. Hi, lady. There's one chicken that roosts on this little bar back here, too. Okay, that's it for the kind of the poopy parts, the real poopy parts. Oh, look, an egg. But along with needing to kind of clean the poop out of those areas that I just did, it's good to clean out the nesting boxes as well. Sometimes they're actually dirty. A lot of times they're not, but it's always good to have some fresh bedding in there for them. In the spring or in the fall or any time that you have rain, melting snow, mud, it's going to be dirtier in the coop and definitely dirtier in the nesting boxes, and that's when you're going to get those eggs that are really dirty too. That's going to be a good indicator for you that it's time to change out nesting box bedding. And once again, I'm interrupting their attempts at getting ready for bed because I have to work and I don't get out till 4:30, which actually means about 5. So I am often coming out here at not a great time for them. Most of the time, though, I don't need to come out here at bedtime. And so, again, similar to what I did earlier, I won't completely clean out the nesting boxes. I'm just kind of taking off that top layer. You know, there's going to be some feathers in there. Might be poop, might be mud. That's fine. We're just going to take a little bit out. I'm going to do the others over here. It's been interesting, too. They really haven't used the original nesting boxes that are here built into the wall of the coop. They did before. This was, you know, definitely their go-to spot. I think a couple of things are at play with that, though. Kind of at the early part of the winter, I sprinkled some DE in there, which we've talked a little bit about that before, but that's diatomaceous earth. That helps kill some of those, you know, nasty bugs and parasites that we can't see, or the tiny fleas and mites, that sort of thing. So it's really healthy for them to have that kind of either mixed in their food, or I mix it in the sand in the run. Or I tried mixing it here in their nesting boxes because I read online that that could be a good thing too. But I'm wondering if that bothered them and they actually don't want that in the nesting boxes specifically. And another thing that I think unfortunately is at play is my, you know, free, cheap and easy setup for my privacy curtains on this one. Because I can just hang it up right here. When they're flapping their wings and jumping in and out of here, it does sometimes fall down. So I'll come out and it'll be kind of, you know, up like this. And then I'll know that there was a situation. So I'm thinking that maybe they're just not comfortable, you know, being in here. It is nice and dry though, and moisture free, because we did repair that door that was out there. So I know that's not the issue. Ooh, it's very dusty in here. Yeah, they may not like all of that. Okay, now I need to quickly go get them some new straw so that they can get to bed. They're clearly annoyed with me, and I understand. So we have a compost pile. Take this down so I can get some fresh air. Out here down one of our trails that's right near the coop. So I'm just going to take this and dump it here before we go get fresh bedding. And what's funny is I can tell that they've already been over here and scratching around. So the ground over here is very dark at the entrance of this pile. So now we store the extra straw in our garage. It's obviously the driest, safest place for it to be. So I'm going to go get some of that. I'll be right back. Hi, bud. You were telling me off just a second ago. I know. But hey, that's extra time out here getting some bugs while there's not snow on the ground. It's a good thing. I'm replenishing the shelf over here off camera. Excuse me, girl. You're right. And they'll smooth this out the way that they want it when they go to sit down on it. Some for the favorite nesting boxes. Put the curtains back down. Put this one back. I know. Mentioned in a previous video, I think I did, but I do take these off and wash them a couple times a year again. I just slide off either end. These are old placemats that we had in the house that we weren't using because people don't use placemats that much anymore. And then I just hand sewed a loop around them. And they work pretty well, other than when it falls off and scares the chickens. All right. Everyone's trying to come in the traditional way. And they're all getting ready for bed. And they're like, get out of here, lady. So another quick chore that I had for myself today was getting the new feed that I bought a couple of days ago into the main feed storage bucket, as well as filling up the feeders that are now pretty much empty. These are 50-pound bags. Not only could I not lift them if I wanted to, but again, I have the bad lower back, not the best neck either. So, and again, I have to do a lot of these things when my husband isn't around because he works long hours, works kind of far from the house sometimes on the days that he does have to go into the office. So I can't wait for him to do everything. I'm sure everybody can understand that in a household. So he will always offer to do this for me, but if I buy feed on a Tuesday, which I think is what I did this week, I can't wait till Saturday for him to, come out here and get this done. This is my technique. I just bring my car right over, park it next to the coop. The coop is that way. And because the bag is so heavy and it's going to come gushing out at first. Okay, so to finish up, yesterday I was trying to record the, filling of the food bucket and the food dishes. The camera battery died on me, my fault. I always keep a charged phone, but I let my son watch videos on it for an extended period of time. So I didn't realize the battery was going to die. So I just kind of wanted to finish up with that. So obviously we have our feed bucket is now full. We've got our green cup in there on top. Yesterday these were full. They've got enough food in them still. So I'm going to leave them that way. But the bag itself still has quite a bit of feed in it. You can kind of see the bottom here. It's still pretty heavy for me anyway, but at least I can lift it. And then one of the things I was explaining was just about, you'll hear a lot of people in homesteading videos, or if you've seen the memes about like, oh, how satisfying it is if you can get this to just rip off in one go, essentially. When I'm pouring it from the car like that, I don't do that. I just rip it part ways so that we've got a pouring spout. And then I fill up the large bucket first because it's got the wider opening, and then I'll fill up the food dishes next. And then from there, I'm able to carry it in here, roll it up, and then I store it between these two buckets that are back there. But back to this. No. I gave you snacks already. Do not peck. So this thing, there's just like yo-yo string from when we were kids. It's like yo-yo string that's sewn onto this, plasticky closure to the bag. I have found that one end will be a whole lot easier to open than the other. So like this was the end that was easier to open, and then this one just wouldn't. So I almost wonder sometimes for the people that have to cut the bags open or that are having a hard time getting them open that way, if they might often be trying on the same end that for whatever reason it's just extremely tight on one end. But then if you can get it to unravel on one end, it will go right off. Again, I don't worry about that when I'm trying to pour it from my car, because then that would be a lot of chicken feed everywhere. Also, some of the chicken feed may go on the ground, which for me, I'm not too worried about for a couple of reasons. I don't lose a lot of it, so I'm not wasting my money by letting some of it fall on the ground. But they will eat it, or the wild birds might come along and get a little bit of an extra snack too, so no big deal. And so today is we're back to being very cold and windy, basically. It's 32 degrees Fahrenheit outside exactly. There have already been a little bit of snow flurries today. We're going to get more of that over the weekend, so the next 2 to 3 days, really. And wind speed right now is 23 miles per hour. So I just wanted to come back out and kind of finish that since I had started talking about it and my camera died. So thanks again, everybody, for coming along and helping clean the coop yesterday and then just kind of seeing how I refill the food buckets. Oh my goodness, so much drama. If you would like and subscribe, once again, that really helps the channel out, and I look forward to seeing you next time.